Hello and welcome to AGT Time. I am Cody Mims here to talk about the penultimate episode of season 12 of America's Got Talent. With me is coming in from LA, Cody Patterson.
Man, I am completely gobsmacked by our podcast this season.
It's a real force to be reckoned with. So how would you rate this episode of AGT?
I would rate this episode an A plus.
Oh, really?
I think
Awesome.
it was packed loaded with talent.
Yeah, it impressed me. I'm very excited to talk about this one. I don't know if I could bring my rating that high. I think both weeks of semifinals have been enjoyable. I would probably keep this one at a B plus like last week, but yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about all of these acts.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, real quick before we get started, I just want to say I am here in a hotel, so if you do hear some background noise, I want to apologize for that up front. Just want to get that out there.
okay.
So, so
Uh,
Celine Tam.
Yeah, we got right into the acts this week. There was no saying hello to the judges or whatever. But we saw a cool package of her with her sister. I think Dion is the best actor of 2K17. What did you think?
Well, we did get looks like a FaceTime call from Celine Dion.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Later, she said she can't wait to meet her. So I guess that was not enough for Celine Tam. But yeah, that was cool to see.
Yeah, this was a fun package to see.
Yeah, so I thought she delivered with this performance. I think Celine is a lovely singer, and also she has amazing stage presence. She just looked really like engaging in how she was sort of looking and gesturing to the audience, and she was projecting really well. And I just could not wait to see how she stacks up against Angelica. I thought this was really good.
Yeah, this was really good. She's saying "How Far I'll Go" from the Disney movie Moana, and I thought she nailed it.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Uh,
was much more. This was much more fitting for her than a couple of the songs she's done before.
Yeah, I agree. This was probably one of my favorite performances of hers. Hey, weird question. Did Mel seem maybe high to you? Because I thought she seemed very chill in her initial assessment of this act.
No, I didn't get that impression. I think she's kind of been um, a little more expressive this season than probably in previous seasons, especially during the live shows with all of her wacky hairdos and outfits that she's wearing. It just seems she's a little more out there. I didn't really notice that she was more chill this week at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. She did have some negatives to say, I think, and Heidi has just been relishing coming off of Mel's hate from the audience this season. It seems like she just swoops in all the time, being like, "Well, guess what? You were great," and then everyone goes wild.
Yeah, that is true. Speaking of Mel B, she went with the Elsa look this week from
Yeah,
Frozen.
I actually thought it was kind of cool. I did vote for Celine though. I gave her 4 votes. I was pretty
Good.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up was Colin Cloud. This package confused me a little bit. There was kind of a lot going on. Maybe I'm just dumb, but kind of Sherlock Holmesian, I guess. What'd you think?
I'm kind of with you. I didn't feel that this was the best package. They've been doing really well on their packages this season, but I did not feel this was the best package. I was a little confused as well.
Yeah, and some of the other ones tonight I think were very strong, but yeah, this one was kind of weird. So Colin starts off his act, and it turns out it is a social media trick. He like tweeted out something before, and he got a bunch of tweets from his fans. And I was just thinking, why do I always miss these kinds of tricks? Because never once where there's some kind of prediction or whatever beforehand have I ever seen it before the show. So that was kind of disappointing, I guess. But I like this. What did you think of this performance?
I loved this. I did see the tweet, or I saw somebody else mention the tweet ahead of time, and I was gonna do it, but for some reason I backed out and chose not to do it. I absolutely loved this. I had in my notes, "Holy cow, Colin Cloud!"
Yeah.
This was much better, and I was trying to go back and look at who was the one that did the technology magic tricks early on with the iPhone with the phones.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I wish I'd gone back and looked at my notes. I was trying to remember who it was, but when I saw this, I was like, "Oh no, he's doing the exact same thing that this other magician was doing," and I completely disliked the technology magic tricks. But he went to a whole new level on this one, to a new level I couldn't even. I mean, well, he spent like a whole week putting this together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know how I felt about Colin recently. I have not been feeling any of his tricks, but I did like this one. I thought he was actually kind of funny tonight in his banter. It actually worked pretty well. He seemed looser and more natural. And then when that video started, I was like, what the hell? It was so good. It was a blast. I knew those numbers looked funny. He flips them over. It's a great ending. It was so much better than I expected from Colin. It was absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Colin, for keeping AGT weird.
Yes, yeah, we need these type of variety acts, and I'm glad that he completely stepped it up from what he did last week.
Yeah. So this was actually my act of the night. I gave this 8 votes.
I just want to go ahead and say I did cast some votes this week.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not, yeah, I did not get to see any of the acts, but I did go ahead and cast some votes. I went ahead and just gave Colin 10 votes. I gave all the acts, all of the non-singing acts, 10 votes this week.
Yeah.
So Colin, Diavolo, and Light Balance went ahead and got 10 votes each from me. I wanted to make sure that the variety acts got through. So I did throw some votes Colin's way.
Yeah, to the listeners, the screenshot Cody sent me was funny. It was a screenshot of the app with no singers written on it in scribbled annotations.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. One note from Howie, he said, "This is what AGT is all about: more than dancing, more than singing." And I can't agree with Howie more about that.
Yeah, this was a very good act to see in the semifinals.
Absolutely.
So next up was a singer, Christian Gardino, and I gotta admit, I forgot he was blind again, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that has not been sticking with me, I guess. But I thought his package looked awesome. I was wondering if they had remade this results show sequence, or if they actually had cameras on him this close during the results show. But the stands were packed and everything. It looked really good.
Yeah, I would think that they would have cameras from all kinds of angles pointed at these contestants when they're up there, just to get their reactions and get these B rolls. So I didn't even once think that it was something they restaged. I absolutely thought that it was from the initial results night.
Yeah, I guess I never see those cameras, so I'm just amazed at the wonder of television production, I guess. That's
Absolutely, that they're recording things even that are not being shown on TV.
yeah. So I like that they are kind of forced to get creative with these packages now, because we've sort of heard the same story from a lot of these acts. Um, but I liked that they kind of took a new angle with this. They were sort of reliving the last results show moment.
Yeah, it was something a little bit different.
Yeah, so that I actually did find more interesting, the actual singing, which I thought was kind of boring. But how did you feel?
The singing itself, well, he's saying "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye, and I was trying to remember. I mean, this song starts out like "Mother, Mother," and I was trying to remember. There's a movie that this song is in, and when he started singing it, I actually kind of sighed a little bit. I was like, I can't stand this song
Oh,
because I continuously have heard it, and I was trying to remember what movie it was. It was either like Swingers. It's a little bit older movie, and I want to say it was Swingers, but I couldn't verify that. But there's a guy that's just like either doing karaoke or he's up on stage. It's not a professional singer singing this song, and that's the only thing that I can think of anytime I hear this song. So when he started singing it, I almost pretty much tuned out because I just can't stand this song.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so Christian did not get any votes from me this time.
He didn't get any votes for me, but again, no, going back, no singers got votes for me.
Yeah. So next up was In the Stairwell, which I don't have much to say. I did not vote for them either. I just thought this was lame.
It was because again we get another Ed Sheeran song,
Oh my
"Castle
god.
on the Hill." So we're still doing the Ed Sheeran library here on AGT.
I didn't know that was
Uh,
his song.
yes,
That is
that's his
amazing.
song.
They found another one.
They found another one. Yes, there was I think there was a CBS Sunday morning feature with Ed Sheeran, and they talked about Castle on the Hill, and I wish I'd gone back and rewatched that, but that's kind of where I know it from, is from that CBS Sunday morning feature.
Okay.
Mel B was glad they kept the cheesy choreography.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I just didn't have much for them. I didn't want them to go on way back when. I haven't liked them at all. I do want to kind of comment on them real quickly that I talked to a friend of mine that used to be in the Air Force. He was not an officer. He was enlisted. And I kind of just wanted to get his thoughts on the Air Force or the military and these type of things where a group of the group of the officers or whoever it may be go and do these type of shows, and just asked him, would the Air Force allow them to do it? And his basic response was, if the guys in charge of the Air Force feel that it's good for the Air Force or good for the military, they're going to let them do it. And that's pretty much all it is more of a they would treat it as kind of as a recruitment tool. Now, again, that's one guy that was enlisted, not an officer, and his sole opinion. So that's that just kind of going from that. I just kind of wanted to get that out there. But me, I said a long time ago that I didn't think the Air Force would allow them to do it, but I could see that if they feel that it's more of using it as a recruitment tool, then yes, they would promote it and they would support it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that is In the Stairwell. Next up was Merrick Hanna, and it seems like he has a house that's just tailor made for shooting cute packages. It looked like a set or something.
It did. He also had that tree house I think we saw in the last round, where he could go up
Yeah.
and draw robots.
Yeah.
The AGT's done a real cool job at making these robots animated. I've really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the stop motion or on the picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the stop motion.
Yeah. There was an interesting bit of stop motion in there as well. So as for his performance, I feel like there is just not enough going on here, and I think it's way too simple.
It is, and I've not been a big fan of his from early on. Once again, I think I watched more of the screen behind him than his actual performance.
Yeah, he was
I thought it
well
was
lit
really
this time at least.
he was a little bit more well lit. They also would show some shots. They would show some close up shots of him, but most of the time it was wide shots. I did like when he flew. I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, that was a
So
Kenichi-esque moment.
it was, yeah. But that was probably the only shining point of his act. The rest of the time, I was pretty much watching the screen behind him.
Yeah, I did not vote for this, but
No, no.
next up was Mandy Harvey. In her package, they cut out the sound for a bit, and I was actually kind of hoping that they would do this. Master of None, the Netflix show, did this recently in one of their fantastic season 2 episodes. So I thought that was pretty neat. And yeah, I thought she had a very cool style this time. What'd you think of Mandy?
This package was very powerful, the way that they cut out the sound, and you had to watch the closed captioning to know what she was saying
Yeah.
because she did everything in sign. And I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too.
And during her song, she signed the song while she was singing it as well instead of playing her ukulele.
Yeah, she's the first on the AGT stage to sign. I think that's awesome.
That was awesome. This was a really great performance to watch.
Yeah. Um, I liked it. It was not. I mean, she wasn't my favorite singer of the night, I guess, but I was happy to see Mandy again. I gave her 2 votes.
Well, good for Mandy. Simon mentioned that he did not want to judge her on her story, but on the performance. I thought that was an interesting comment.
Yeah, they they don't say that a lot. But how is he feeling about this performance?
I think he's always been a fan of hers, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So
It just kind of sounds like something that people say when they don't like it, but I don't know.
no,
I mean,
I think he liked the performance.
yeah,
A lot of people have been saying that they don't want the judges judging them based on their stories; that they want them judging them on their talent. This is the first time we've ever heard a judge actually say that.
yeah. I kind of agree. I kind of think they maybe didn't do that enough tonight, but with Mandy, I agreed with them. I liked her for sure.
Agreed.
So next up was Pompeo Family Dogs. I still can't believe this was the wild card choice, but there we go. What'd you think?
This is one of the worst wildcard choices I've ever seen. They could have brought anybody back. They could have brought Bello. They could have brought Puddles. They could have brought anybody back, but for some reason, they wanted to bring Pompeo family back.
Yeah, I've typically been very happy with the judges' wild card picks, but in my opinion, they kind of dropped the ball on this one.
They absolutely did. And during the Pompeo family intro, they finally decided to try to get us to relate to the dogs. And I think it's a little too late for that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Why? My question was, why did they use the song "Hot and Cold" if it was just cold the whole time?
Well, they were probably hot on stage from being under those lights and inside the parkas.
That's true. And I
So,
guess maybe it was something with like hot dogs, but
yeah.
I think I'm overthinking it. I thought balancing the dog was kind of cool, but I mean, you already know how I'm gonna feel about this. I didn't vote for this act.
Agreed. I mean, I think the one part I liked was when the dog climbed the stairs. Not really stairs, but more of like a ladder, where front paws were on one ladder and like the back paws were on another ladder, and it climbed itself up. I felt that was probably the best part of it, but the dogs had problems with the costumes. I thought this was the worst theme that they could come up with. You know, they've done Safari, they've done several other themes that have looked really good, but this was one of the worst.
Yeah, I agree. This theme was not too exciting.
What if they'd played Cold as Ice?
That would be interesting because it'd be such an unconventional type of song to use for this. I would be a lot more into that, I think. So yeah, that's it for Pompeo family. Next up was Diavolo. I guess I'll go first on this one. I thought this definitely had its cool moments, but I still feel like I don't really get it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be impressed by. I'm not saying it was bad. It was sort of cool and interesting, but Diablo's still not landed for me. I guess that makes me an outlier, but what did you think of it?
Okay, they performed to "Sign of the Times" by Harry Styles. And just a quick note on that: if you heard at the very end, Simon gave some praise to Harry Styles. It's because
Yeah,
Harry Styles is part of Psycho.
yeah.
So
I
I thought that I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I was sort of confused when he said Harry because I had no idea that was a Harry Styles song. It sounded not what I would have guessed, I guess. But
Yeah. As far as their performance, this was not one of my favorite performances of theirs. I didn't get this one.
oh,
I've
really?
enjoyed I enjoyed the train. I enjoyed the, I guess, teeter totter at the very beginning in auditions. I enjoyed the clock and the wheel in their last performance. I've enjoyed every one of these. This one I didn't totally get. It seemed a little more out there. Now I'm not really much of an artistic guy. I don't look deep into art and think about it too much. But this seemed a little more deep, a little deeper than I like to enjoy. I don't want to have to think much about it, but this one just seemed a little more weird than what they've done before.
Yeah, a lot going on. I kind of liked how they jumped out of the wheel, I guess, but like, yeah, it was weird.
They brought out this one contraption that it kind of looked like a semi-sphere. It had some holes in it. I compared it to a Hannibal Lecter mask. So,
Yeah, good imagery there.
but no, I still threw him some votes early, even before watching this. It's one of my favorite acts. It was 1 out of 4 that I haven't enjoyed. So I'll leave it at that. I enjoyed the other three. If I enjoy 3 out of 4 of their shows, I'm happy.
Awesome. So next up was Catchy, and she wasn't bad, I guess, but that's kind of all I feel on this. What did you think?
Yeah, she sang "Don't Worry About Me" by Francis, and I wasn't feeling it this time. I think I've kind of enjoyed Catchy up until now, but for some reason, I just didn't enjoy it this much. I mean, as much this time. I just thought it was okay.
Yeah, I did as well, and she made a lot of people cry. They were being really liberal with those close-ups. I'll say that.
Yes. Quick note on Catchy. I just was kind of curious about this. In judge cuts, and I'm guessing, and in quarterfinals, and I think even in auditions, she was the last act of the round. Not just
Okay.
of the show, but of the round.
Oh, interesting. That's a
Yeah.
cool pattern.
So I'm surprised that they didn't do that here. Now she's ninth out of 11. So, just to kind of throw her to the very end of the round, you're the very, very last one. That kind of helps people keep you in their memories. So to
Yeah.
not do that here, that surprised me a little.
Yeah, it does seem like they are kind of trying to make her a sleeper hit or something, but I don't know. Does Darcy still have the streak of going last on every show?
I don't think so. I'd have to double check that. I don't think she went last in semifinals.
Okay. I can't
I'd have
wait to
to
see
check.
who goes last in the finals.
Right.
But yeah, that's catchy. No votes from me, but Light Balance was on next. I was very excited for this. I thought they were still quite creative, but it was probably their weakest performance for me. But that is not saying much. It was still awesome. I gave him 6 votes.
Well, now you're burying the lead a little bit here. You forgot to go over the package. We found out what happened at the beginning of their last performance. They had radio interference where they couldn't get the lights to work.
Yeah, they were devastated, but they were surprised they still went through, which I thought was interesting. I mean, it seemed like it was pretty obvious that they were going to me, but I guess being in that theater, it's a much different feeling.
Absolutely. Now, I enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed their other performances. One thing they did differently this time is they had a guy elevate. Looked like he was kind of on a magic carpet that had turbines, had jet engines on it.
Yeah.
That was that was one of my favorite effects of the performance.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was kind of a point in there that I feel maybe didn't choreograph it right because one guy, while I guess the main guy was elevated, another guy stepped in front of one of the turbines, one of the jet engines, and it kind of
Oh,
caused a
yeah.
shadow. So you could see him standing there in front of it, and it kind of ruined the effect a little bit.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a mistake, but yeah, I did see that.
I mean, it may have been a mistake, or it may have been something he did intentionally, or maybe they just when they choreographed it, they didn't notice it very well. But it really you really can see it when he goes in front of that. There's a shadow there.
Yeah, yeah. But you
Heidi,
were really
Heidi,
into it?
I was really into it. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, they're still great. They're one of the best performances of the season. I don't know if I could get bored by it.
Awesome.
Heidi used the term "the technology worked," which sounds very generic to me.
Yeah. Uh, but I cannot wait to see Light Balance in the finals.
I can't either. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So next up was Angelica Hale. I was also excited for this one. I mean, look at me being excited for a regular old singer, but I thought she had a cute package. They ended on this really cute smile when she was holding her baby sister. So that was very nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Her mom gave birth on August 29th. She's singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" to her,
Yeah.
and she's doing a fantastic job on it. Yeah, this was a great package.
Yeah, absolutely. So I loved her falsetto in her performance, and I do think there were some problems, but she still had me.
Absolutely, she is one of the top singers of the season.
Yeah, I gave her 3 votes, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again.
I agree. Now she sang "Without You" by David Guetta.
Getta, yeah.
Guetta, okay.
I thought it was an interesting choice. Last time she sang "Clarity" by Zed, so she's actually kind of got a pattern of doing these like not too fast electronic songs, which I thought was interesting. But I did think last week worked a lot better.
Right, and I'd never heard of this guy. And what's interesting is after I watched this and looked up his name, I saw a billboard for him out here in LA.
Oh,
So I was like, "Hey, I recognize that guy's name now." So
cool. I wonder if she'll be at his show.
I don't know. Maybe if he's in town, maybe she's gonna sing with him.
Yeah, that'd be cool because I don't know. She could probably show up Usher, who's the featured singer on that song.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the last performance. If you want to get to our results, our dunk and save lineup was Colin Cloud, Diavolo, and Ketchy. 3 pretty major players this episode, so I mean it was a tough night, I guess.
No, I was surprised to see these three in the Duncan save. That kind of made my stomach churn a little bit to see all three of them because you're right. That's a pretty powerful group.
Yeah, so I voted for Colin, and I was predicting Diavolo to win Judge's Choice.
Okay, I think it's probably a good choice.
So our first result was Christian, Merrick, and Angelica. I was wanting Angelica, but I was predicting Merrick out of this, but then they said the result, and I was like, thank God, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Well, I'm glad Angelica got picked in this one.
yeah. So then was Celine, Mandy, and Pompeo family. I was wanting Celine, and I honestly could not even make a prediction on this. I could not write down a name before they said the result, because Celine versus Mandy was pretty intense to me.
Yeah. Would you have rather had Celine Tam versus Mandy or Celine versus Angelica in the same grouping?
Um, yeah, I like the way that they did this. I was looking forward to, the two of them go and edit, but as soon as they said this result, I was thinking like, dang, Angelica beat Celine. So I still kind of got that effect, but yeah, even though I was predicting that Angelica would eventually win out, I still thought it was very interesting to see it happen.
Absolutely. I think it just. I think a lot of people were really hoping for an Angelica versus Celine type matchup, and maybe seeing them in the same group or seeing them both go on to the finals.
Yeah, how do you feel about it? Because I liked Celine better this time, but I have been very excited about Angelica this whole season.
I think Angelica. I think they both did a pretty good job, and I would not have been surprised if both did go through. Now, since Celine was in the same grouping with Mandy, I felt Mandy did a much better job than Celine did.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So after that, we had a guest performance from Absinthe. I thought the intro was terrible, but uh, in their performance, they had like a lot of stuff going on. They had like six different whole aesthetics. I did not know what to make of this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I put. I said, "What is this?" at first because I didn't know. Is this a guy that just dresses up in old '70s tuxedos with slick back hair? And I didn't know what to make of this. And then we started seeing that it's a more of a variety show with some acrobats. Some girl puts a balloon on her head. I didn't understand that. My favorite part was when they go into Simon's dressing room and he had a rack full of white T-shirts.
Yeah, that was the best joke.
But I didn't know what to make of the whole show. It's apparently a Vegas show that's geared more to adults. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why it's on here.
yeah. So after that, we saw Light Balance versus In the Stairwell. This was an easy one. It was Light Balance, of course.
Well, did we get Tyra with kids first, or was that later?
Tyra with kid. Wait, what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Tyra watches AGT with kids.
Oh, I don't think I even saw this segment. That's tell me what happened.
Well, it's kind of similar to what Nick would do with kids, where he'd come in and maybe have them talk about the judges or talk about the acts. It was mainly Tyra and like I think three kids sitting on a couch watching various acts throughout the season and kind of commenting on him. They watched Joku. They watched. I wish I'd wrote down. Oh, they had the Quiddlers on, and Tyra asked if they knew who the Village People were, and one of them said, "Yeah, they're from the 1850s." Simon comes in for a little bit, and the kids kind of want to tell Simon some stuff about, "Hey, don't you dare make kids cry." And one of the kids told him he should wear leopard print. So this was kind of a funny one. It just made me think back to the type of segment that Nick would usually do with kids, and I was just wondering, I mean, if you saw it, which do you think would be better? Is Nick with the kids or Tyra with the kids? Which one's better? So, since you didn't see it,
I'm
I
sorry.
guess you wouldn't know. No, that's fine, and I'm probably not giving it very much justice here, but I thought it was a kind of little fun segment to show.
All right. Cool. So one of Tyra's first main features, I guess.
Absolutely, and
Uh,
they one of them I think thought no. This we'll get to that later. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So, then was it after this that we saw America's Got Tweets?
Well, after we have Light Balance and In the Stairwell, and then we have America's Got Tweets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes more sense. Why I didn't see that then? Um. So I thought Heidi's defense for her quote binoculars was actually pretty reasonable. Simon's defense less so. But what did you think of this segment?
I kind of like this segment. They talked about Heidi's binoculars. Someone thought Tyra was Beyonce.
Yeah. Someone's
Someone thought
dad.
Howie was Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, he enjoyed that.
This was fun to watch them reading AGT tweets.
Yeah, uh, pretty good segment.
It was a good segment, yeah.
So after that, everything comes to a close, and Catchy wins the Duncan save, uh, and then the judges vote for Diavolo, 3-0. Um, so I was actually pretty disappointed by this. Just when I start to like Colin, he's out the door. How did you feel?
I was surprised by this at a 3-0 vote. We don't even know who Heidi voted was going to vote for.
Uh huh.
Howie didn't go last. Well, I mean, I guess he did go last, but he was the third judge this time. So to not even go to the fourth judge, I don't know if we've ever seen them do this before.
I feel like it's weirdly familiar not knowing how Heidi votes. It makes me think like every time they have like a 3-0 that she does not go uh she goes last for whatever reason, but I don't know. Maybe I got to do some research into that, but yeah, how do you think Heidi would have voted?
I think she probably would have voted Diavolo as well. It's probably been a 4-0, which is really, really surprising that Colin didn't get a single vote from this.
Yeah.
I figured Howie would have liked him. Mel B seems to really like him. She's pretty much involved in almost all of his performances, and she just goes crazy when he finishes. So I figured that Mel B would at least throw him a vote. So to be completely shut out like this was surprising.
Yeah, it surprised me as well. But since we're at the end here, that means we have our top 10 finalist lineup. We've got Angelica Hale, Chase Goring, Darcy Lynn, Diavolo, Evie Claire, Ketchy, Light Balance, Mandy Harvey, Preacher Lawson, and Sarah and Hero. And I think this is a pretty interesting group. It's mixed up pretty well. There's a high amount of singers, but like of course there is for this season. I'm reasonably happy with it, I guess. What do you think?
I'm pretty happy with it. The only one I'm a little disappointed in is the Sarah and Hero. Um, but I think the rest of it's really, really strong. And I've talked that I'm a firm believer that Darcy is going to win this. But I don't want to be on the fence here. But there are other strong ones, Angelica or Evie or Mandy. Any one of them could probably win it. I still think Darcy is the clear favorite here, but you never know. It's a strong finals.
Yeah. Are there any acts in this lineup that neither of us drafted?
Yes, so Catchy and Sarah and Hero are the only two that were not drafted by us.
Interesting.
So
I take Pompeo family.
you did take Pompeo
All
family,
right,
yes,
that's weird. Um,
and I don't know if you should get credit for them going to the semifinals or not.
probably not. So who do we have?
Okay, so we have Mandy Harvey, Light Balance, Preacher, Angelica, Darcy Lynn, Diavolo, Evie Claire, and Chase. So you've got 3, and I've got 5. So you've
Oh,
got Mandy, Light Balance, and Preacher, and then I've got the others. Right now, I'm leading 18-12.
mm-hmm.
So as long as if one of your 3 can come out and win this thing, I've kind
Yeah.
of got better odds. I don't think Sarah and Hero or Catchy are going to win this. That's pretty low odds. I don't know if anyone out there and if our listeners want to put odds on any of one of these 10 acts. We more than welcome to see that if someone wants to do that. But I think the odds are good that you or I have the winner on this.
Yeah, I think you're gonna take it.
Well, I've got Angelica, Darcy, and Evie Claire. So Unless Mandy comes out of nowhere to win this, I think I do have some better odds on this.
Right. Those are my thoughts as well. So, do you want to make any sort of like re-predictions now on who we think top five is going to be?
We can talk about it. Absolutely. I've still got Darcy as the winner. I think Angelica is probably. This is probably going to be. I'm only going to have Darcy as the winner. The rest of these, I'm not really going to have an order, but I think Angelica will be in the top five. Um, Evie might be in the top five. Preacher, Mandy, so that's four, and probably Light Balance.
Yeah. I do think that Darcy will win. That is my official prediction at this state of the game. And I think Light Balance will probably come in at number two or three. Preacher, I think, will be in there somewhere. And the other two, I think are gonna be filled up by singers. Um, Mandy might do it, and I'll put some faith in Evie. I think she might get top five.
So it seems like we kind of have the same top five here, just maybe in different orders.
Yeah.
So
So that'll be very fun to watch for sure. Um, so yeah, I guess that is all that we have for tonight. Going into the finals, right?
absolutely, and I just want to say that I'm still keeping an eye out for tickets for AGT. It looks like they have opened up some more times to get them, so I'm still just keeping an eye out to see if they open those up. But hopefully, this time next week, I'll be talking about my experience at the show.
Oh, I
Crossing
really
our
hope so.
crossing our fingers on that.
Yes, that would be wonderful. So, everyone vote for that somehow. Get out your
Yes.
AGT app. Call
Yeah.
in.
No buzzes, please.
Yeah, and if you want to call in to our show, I guess you can send us your voice or whatever. But just send whatever you want to agtcast@gmail.com and send all your great finals predictions to AGT Time on Twitter. You can also catch us on Facebook and Apple Podcasts if you want to leave a review there. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening to us this episode and this season, and we will see you with glee and pride next week.
Good night.